Now we're going to talk about DOM, or Document Object Model in JavaScript. The DOM is an essential part of web development, allowing us to interact with HTML elements, modify their content, and create dynamic web pages. Now before we dive into coding, let's understand the importance of the DOM in web development. The DOM represents the structure of an HTML document as a tree-like structure, with each element being a node. We can use JavaScript to access, manipulate, and update these nodes, giving us the power to create dynamic and interactive web pages. Let's start by learning how to access these elements in the DOM using JavaScript. I will preface this by saying you should have a brief understanding of how HTML works. In this code snippet, we use various methods to access elements in the DOM. The getElementById method allows us to select an element using its unique ID attribute. The getElementByClassName method selects elements based on their class name. And the getElementsByTagName method selects elements based on their tag name. These methods return a collection of elements that match the specified criteria. Once we have access to an element, we can modify its styles and content. In this code snippet, we demonstrate how to modify styles, the styles, and the content of an element. The style property allows us to change the CSS styles of an element dynamically. Here, we set the color to red and the font size to 20 pixels. The inner HTML property lets us update the content of an element. In this case, we set the content to hello world. And we get an error here because we actually don't have the element we're calling. You have to create that yourself on an HTML file. We can also handle events in the DOM, such as button clicks or keyboard inputs. In this code snippet, we attach an event listener to the click of an element. When the element is clicked, the specified function is executed, displaying an alert with the message button clicked. This allows us to respond to user interactions and create interactive web experiences. Traversing the DOM means moving up, down, or sideways within the tree-like structure to access related elements. In this code snippet, we demonstrate basic DOM traversal methods. The parent node property allows us to access the parent element of a given element. The next element sibling property gives us the next sibling element, and the previous element sibling property provides the previous sibling element. These traversal methods enable us to navigate and interact with elements in different parts of the DOM. And here are the DOMs I was just talking about. Alright, so that's going to conclude our tutorial on working with DOMs, or Document Object Models, in JavaScript. We covered accessing elements, modifying styles and content, handling events, and DOM traversal. With this knowledge, you now have the power to create dynamic and interactive web pages.